Well, the Foreign Minister Penny Wong says Australia has raised concerns with China about a letter circulated in Melbourne targeting a prominent pro-independence advocate from Hong Kong. Now, this is a letter that was sent last week to some Melbourne addresses with a picture of Australian citizen Kevin Yam. It was advertising the bounty of around $200,000, which Hong Kong police have offered to anyone who helps them locate or arrest him. In 2023, Hong Kong authorities issued an arrest warrant for Mr Yam, accusing him of breaking sweeping national security laws, which they have used to target critics abroad. On the social platform X, Mr Yam says he would continue to live his everyday life, but will not voluntarily return to Hong Kong before it is free. Well, Ted Hui is a former Hong Kong legislator and activist who left Hong Kong and is now in Adelaide, where he joins me live. Ted Hui, welcome to the program. Now, you've seen this letter that was sent to Kevin Yam. What do you make of it and where do you think it came from?
I don't know where it comes from. It doesn't have a letterhead, so I assume it's not officially sent by the Hong Kong police or the Hong Kong regime. But I'm speculating that it's from an agent, perhaps behind the Hong Kong regimes, to do the dirty job, because the police themselves wouldn't want to do it themselves with a bad name. But I do believe that the Hong Kong regimes would be hiring people from the underworld to do it. So what I think about it is that it's more than just troubling. It's intimidating. It's clearly a personal threat towards Kevin, towards many of us Hong Kong democracy advocates who are still being actively engaged and high profile, advocating for freedom and democracy for Hong Kong. So it's a clear message for people like us to be silenced and to not criticize the Hong Kong regimes. I think the message is quite clear.
Yes, a Hong Kong official has told the ABC not long ago, earlier today, that, well, the jurisdiction had nothing to do with those letters. But as you mentioned earlier, that, these were perhaps by the Underworld figures. And so are these Underworld figures operating on Australian soil?
I do believe so, and it's very alarming. Of course, in the past few years, since I've started living in Australia, I haven't spotted anyone actually following me, stalking me. But I think I'm truly convinced that perhaps the Chinese embassies and their little pinkies, their fan supporters, will be around, mobilized by the Chinese regimes to do this kind of work. So if they are not directly employed by the Chinese regimes on Australian soil, they must be accused to do so. They must be allowed to do so in a way, or even mobilized in a way to do so, to harass people like me, to silence our voice in support for Hong Kong.
Yes, I mean, what is the ultimate goal then of these, apparent intimidation tactics, aside from, silencing voices? Is there a bigger picture here?
Yes, I'm assuming because Hong Kong has changed from a half democracy now to an authoritarian regime totally. So it has passed draconian laws in the past 4 years, so-called national security laws. So they have been making public statements and criticizing people like us to silence us from criticizing the Hong Kong regimes, to stop fighting for democracies. But they haven't seen that it's been effective. That's why I'm assuming that now they have changed tactics. They have to hire these secret agents and doing it more secretly. And the aim is to threaten myself, of my families, and of my social circles. For example, think about people around me, be more alerted to second think whether we should be making friends or having any connections with people like you, Ted Hui. Would I be put into danger? Would I be watched by the Chinese embassies? They are trying to create this kind of white terror, as an alternative way to silence people like us. So it's a threat, not targeting only me, but all the people human freedom fighters in the world. I think that's CCP's long arc.